Greetings and welcome back. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and this is Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. And I am joined, as always, by Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, welcome back again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here, and welcome to everyone who might be new because it is Founders Week.
It is!
Randomly. Oh my goodness. What a time. We'll get into what a time it is later in the show, but for now, it's all our welcome.
Indeed, indeed. So, Kyle, we've both now had over a week to sit and chill, enjoy some Thrall, get in some draft games. How is closed beta Heroes treating you?
Oh man, I played so many games this past weekend, and draft is quite a beast, and there is a lot of ways to play correctly in there. Quick match seems like it's the same sort of fun, wacky place it's always been, though.
Yep.
So my friends are getting in there slowly. Some of them really had to put in some heavy work this past week, which adds to the wonderful mysticism of people in draft not knowing what they're doing when I'm watching people like struggle to level up enough when I know they're good enough to be in draft.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny because a lot of my friends are getting in now that you can buy in, or it seems like invites are still going out, and yeah, my buddies are getting in there, and we can't do the same thing together. So I imagine this is kind of how the flip side of the coin was all those years ago when I first started WoW, and friends of mine were already 60.
Yeah, and they're like, "Come on, man, jeez, what are you slacking?"
Yeah, exactly. And just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 40 and my pet doesn't have talents because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I remember printing out pictures in my dormitory to hang on my roommate's wall of my epic mounts because he was leveling so slow.
So it's the same. You were trying to achieve the same thing as like putting a Gerard Butler poster in front of where you lift weights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, is grinding really that different? Working out teaches you a lot about discipline, and that includes making it to your raids.
Delightful. That's great to hear. I'm really glad that you felt the need to, like, I don't know, virtually shame your friends into leveling faster.
Chastise him? Yeah.
There
but he
you
was
go.
A warlock, so that kind of tells you all the personality traits you need to know.
Yep. And I know this friend, and he's a flake.
Too true.
Anywho, yeah, it's been quite the week, and more than really ever. You know, you mentioned there being a lot of quote correct ways to play the draft system, and I have never in my life felt that there is as much of a correct answer as there is. It seems to be at the moment playing ranked Heroes of the Storm.
Sure.
There is like 7 heroes that are just considered the best, and they're in every damn game.
Yeah, I mean, I actually predicted the picks the other day as though psychic in front of my own eyes. And it's kind of the way the game is right now. Mm-hmm. Granted, like so many games built up in low-profile ways, like League of Legends or Dota, that just said, hey, here's a game that already exists. Let's make a real version of it, and imported all that information over. So it's perfectly understandable that now we're cutting out doubles for one, which is probably the biggest deal.
You mean, mirror matchups?
Yeah, because
can't have a Thrall on red team and blue team at the same time. Just doesn't happen.
And I'm seeing a lot of really bad Raynors in draft because, frankly, people did what I did. They said, I need another assassin to kind of fill me out. This one's 2,000 gold. Let's get into draft today. And so that other team picks Tychus, and you go, crap. Like, I don't really have anything else I'm good at.
Raynor was my 10th acquisition as well.
Sure, and you got to own him. Like, Raynor's Raynor,
Yeah. No, he's fine. He's a totally fine hero when played correctly. But I've seen so many people who I feel like you kind of get stuck with him when Tychus gets picked, and they feel that his auto heal is just free reign to go as deep and as hard as you want into the opposing team when the other 4 members of your team are missing. And
which is true enough in like a quick match setting because it feels like he's invincible, and in fact you have to like beat him up enough to trigger it, and then you'll come back later and finish the job. But when people can actually coordinate their attacks in a Skype setting, then things get a little dangerous for Raynor. By the way, we always kind of mention it towards the end of the show as we're crediting out. Let's go ahead and put it up front here. If you are in the game, join /join a move in the chat because it's a wonderful place.
Well, you already mucked it up. So everyone don't listen to what Kyle just said because he's wrong. It's /join space AMOVE TV.
There you
AMOVE TV. If you do a move, you'll be alone in a channel no one uses. But
except for the horrible people who listen to me.
Exactly. It should be like, Kyle told me to come here. And then it just becomes the cult of Kyle. You go join space a move, and it's just a bunch of Kyle Ferguson worshippers. He said he would to go here one day. Our Savior will come. He will come in the form of Abathur, and with the voice of Garrett the Devil yelling at him to not.
But there are so many people just constantly looking for co-op games, trying to figure out, what heroes they want to invest in the future. So check that out. It's a great place to hang out. It's where I pull for all my co-op games and quick matches. Draft is its own story, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Folks, if you're new, join the A-Move TV chat channel. It's full of so many friendly, like-minded people that are not total elite jerks.
Yeah.
So I'm an elite jerk, but
sure,
everyone else in there isn't.
Constrain yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I can turn it off. I can turn it off. I'm playing with folks I don't know. Cool. It's nice Garrett mode.
Well, technically, however you say your name, there is a Garrett in it now because you changed your name this past week. But I'm known as Tyrande in there, so if you see me around, that's me.
Yeah, I was perusing my Battle.net account this past week and noticed I had an unused Battle.net name change, and I was sick of being of going. Actually, A-Move TV chat is one of the main reasons I did this, because everyone was like, "Who the hell is Garrett?" And it's just like, I'm just going to change my name to Garrett because we don't use our handles on these shows. It's pointless.
No, we are a weird outlier in the esports world.
Yeah, I don't. I remember we tried introing it very briefly on StarCast with our handles. I'm like, this just feels stupid. My name's Garrett. It's dumb. It makes
sense if you're a pro player and then you get into that world of casting or podcasting in the background under that name. But I mean, if you're just a sweet person like us, no need to fancy it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, without further ado, let's get into this week's news discussion.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now? Point me to the stage.
So the big news this week, obviously, is that the Founders Pack is out and available for anybody. That's right. Even you, listener, who may not have opened up your Battle.net, what's the word I'm looking for, client this week and noticed that regardless of which game you click on, Blizzard is trying really hard to get you to buy into Heroes of the Storm. The Founders Pack is out, so you can purchase this for $40, and it gives you beta access, 3 heroes, skins for all 3 heroes, and an exclusive gold Cyberwolf mount that you can only get through the Founders Pack. So you and I were both very surprised that this happened, Kyle. I remember you sending me a message just like, "Damn, dude, did you hear the Founders Pack?"
Which clearly you had, because then I immediately went to Twitter and was like, "Yeah, he's already on top of this for the past 2 hours."
ITN,
in fact, you even beat the official Blizzard post out about it, which I was very impressed.
What can I say, man? I am a Twitter whore.
There you go.
Blizzard should hire me or something to do social media and community outreach.
Something like that.
But yeah, so this is not dissimilar from the way Dota 2 used to work. You could buy into that for $20, and you've got all the heroes. But anyway,
sure, but before emails come in, there was that thing in the background where people had friend invites, and they could then sell them on the Steam marketplace. And because people had so damn many, they were selling for cents.
Yes, absolutely. So this is great. I'm really excited about this, and there's been a lot of feedback from the community, both positive and negative, obviously. We even got plenty of emails, and we got a couple of them here. For example, listener Dan wrote in and said that he's seen a bunch of posts online where people are mad at Blizzard for charging $40 for beta access. He said, in my brain, it was probably worth $40 just to finally play this game, but people aren't counting all the stuff that comes with it. He said you get beta access, you get $5 in gold, you get $20+ in heroes, you get $30 to $40 in skins. So $55 to $65 plus beta access for $40 in his eyes seems like a good deal. Which is a good point.
Yeah, and for us already in the game, this is a pack. Like it's not called the Founders Pack. It's just a discounted set where you can buy all these things that you get with beta access for $40. So if you're already looking at the in-game story, you're going, well, damn, what a deal. Like, you get immediately in. But I think what's more upsetting people is that, one, it popped up in the client, and it is now a button for everyone who has not purchased Heroes of the Storm. Sitting there staring them in the face, what could have been a free game is now seeming like a cash grab.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, a listener of ours named Eric wrote in and said he opened up his Battle.net client last night to see that he now had an icon for Heroes of the Storm. He said, quote, "A moment of cheer as I must have finally gotten an invite, yet clicking the button shows nothing more than a buy beta invite button. I'm torn on which I should focus on, sadness or anger. Overall, what a crappy move. No one likes a tease, Blizz."
Yeah.
Which I kind of agree. I don't... That's the one thing where I'm just like, really? You guys had to know that people were just going to be like, oh, you're jerks for doing that.
Right. Well, and, you know, if you're really excited about this game, you're seeing a lot of people get in with free invites in the past. And if you're not part of a community that's giving out, you know, beta keys at the moment, or you're, you know, just kind of playing on a friend's account or whatever have you, this doesn't seem quite as insulting. But if it's just complete, like, out of left field, like, the game is out, oh my god, I'm in, then I can totally see how people are getting a little upset.
Yeah. We've been getting a lot of tweets from people too. It's just like, is it worth it? Should you do the $4? I'm just like, if you're asking us, you're not going to get an unbiased answer.
Right,
obviously. Yeah, if I wasn't in right now, I would have spent that $40 faster than it would have been a non-issue. I wouldn't even have thought about it. I've been like, am I getting a paycheck this week? Yes. Okay, I'm buying it. So.
Well, and for me, I would have spent the last 8 months sitting on my hands playing Dota, going, man, I can't wait for 20-minute games. Come on, Blizzard.
I've got laundry to do, bills to pay. I just don't have this hour for one game I might lose in me anymore. I just can't do it. Yeah. No, I think this is fine. Because you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. You can wait. And if you don't want to wait, $40 to get you a decent amount of stuff. Granted, some of those heroes may not be as great as some of the others, but whatever. You're going to go in just not looking get into ranked right away. This is a fine stable of heroes to start off with. It's a good intro to the game.
Exactly. You have your free-to-play heroes this week. That makes that list pretty lengthy of heroes that you can play right now when you get into the game. When we're looking at it from already inside, we see the pack that is $40 and go, damn, what a deal. But that's also because we've had months to mentally process the price of Blizzard Heroes items. And they are, frankly, extremely expensive.
Yes.
For digital property that I can't tangibly hold or do really anything with, for a free-to-play game, like buying a hero straight up is going to cost you. And skins, completely optional, there's no rune system or anything that improves your power in-game that you can actually purchase with money. So these things are just pricey.
Yep, they are. So this is, in the grand scheme of how much it costs to play heroes, this is not a bad deal.
No.
That being said, I could totally do with an overall price cut.
Yeah, I mean, those will come with time. We're already seeing the weekly sales go up. They're not the biggest deals in the world.
They're way better than paying full price stuff.
Sure, I mean, they're 50% off. I mean, this week right now we have Gazlo himself, Big Top Gazlo, who's getting a sweet update actually coming soon. His little turrets are going to have creepy little hats atop them to match the clowny face. And Magni Muradin is just, I feel, required if you're into Muradin. It's an awesome skin.
Absolutely. Diranix in the chat room is asking if the hero sales are worth it. And, well, I think it is if it's a hero you want. It absolutely is, because it's half the damn price.
Right, and until we've actually reached full release, these special sales are about as good as we're going to get. They've said, once it's been out for a bit, heroes will just naturally go down because we'll have this huge pile of heroes on top of them that are fresh. And old-ass things that came with the release of the alpha will just naturally decrease in value.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a point where like Muradin and Stitches and Arthas and all of the launch heroes are going to be relatively cheap, or like all lumped into like the OG pack for like $10. Get all the original heroes. I don't know.
Exactly.
But anyways, it's an exciting time. I've been seeing so many of my friends getting into the game now because it's just it's, all it is now is a $40 barrier. Chat room's bringing up a good point too, is like, since we're in and we can't really judge, a good question is, would we pay to get into Overwatch right now? And the answer is absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I would. I wonder if I take 220s and I mail it to Blizzard, if they'll give me Overwatch access. I don't think it works like that.
Then don't spread those rumors. Otherwise, it's going to happen.
People look at them.
What the heck?
I mean, we're going to get hate mail. I sent Blizzard 220s and I didn't get Overwatch access. You told me to do it. Don't do that. Please don't do that. So, anywho, in slightly off news, they did post a ton of undocumented changes that were brought into the game with last week's balance patch. There's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of it is very minor. So there'll be a link to that in the show notes if you would like to go see it in full.
Right, and it's also just documenting things that change that you could assume for yourself. Abathur got all new talents. Guess what? He lost Bolt of the Storm. And the rest of them are all kind of like health changes. I mean, there's one that's ETC's stage dive increased in speed by 0.0625. Yes, balance.
And also, really exciting thing to talk about on a show.
Yes, thrilling.
So, that more or less wraps it up for our news this episode. But we have two strategy discussions for you. Let's kick it off with the first one.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Impressive work, hero. I think you're ready for more.
So now that anybody can get into Heroes of the Storm, as long as they pay the doorman, we figure now was as good a time as ever to do kind of a welcome newbies, like a little intro section into the game. So if you're like us and you've been playing since the beginning of the alpha, this will probably bore you. But if you're a new player, listen up.
And just hang on, because if you've been around for a bit, our second strategy section today is going to be all about the drafting. So if you've been around for a while, that's all for you. This is for those people who just getting in. Maybe they've never played a MOBA before. Maybe they've played other MOBAs.
Yep. We're here to talk about how to play the game from level 1. So let's get into it. Obviously, the first thing that we should talk about are the heroes that you get for purchasing a Founder's Pack. So you get Diablo, Tyrande, and Raynor. So you get a warrior, you get an assassin, and you get a support.
Right.
Which is a nice little trio.
Yeah, it's a solid amount of... It's odd to see these three. I mean, they're so iconic. They're all from different franchises, and each one's a different role. So it's a great pick for a general collection. As for being the strongest in their current classes, they're kind of odd. Diablo right now is suffering from a really bad bug where his slam push ability actually pushes people in the direction they're already heading if using an ability. So Vala's vault ability, where she's cartwheeling in a direction, if you hit her mid that, she will be pushed in the direction she's already going. Same with Tychus at the moment. So kind of odd in that case for people.
That would be the Shadow Charge Q ability.
Yes.
On Diablo. I was not aware of that. That's annoying.
Yeah, we were playing some games this past week, and I was definitely griping a little bit, thinking maybe I'd gone insane, and I actually have not.
Well, that's very good to hear. Now, you did say that these three were strange. Is it, though? Because wasn't Diablo the first hero you played, and Tyrande was most certainly the first hero I played?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm just saying in the facts of, like, heavy supports, Tyrande is, in fact, almost this weird sort of like, we have a support, but we need some extra damage. Let's do Tyrande.
Yeah, no, she's definitely not a hard support. You can build her that way if you go the healing totem route. You know, at level level 1, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not. Healing ward is level 4 for Tyrande. My mistake. But anyways, they're good heroes, and Chatver makes the point that yes, they're also from the 3 different IPs. You've got a Diablo hero, you've got a StarCraft hero, and you have a Warcraft hero. Right,
and there are more iconic ones than someone like Tyrande, but again, we need to fill those different roles that they have in game. No specialist, which is perfectly understandable. Specialists are the bizarre outliers that are more focused on mercs or pushing, and not something I would want to say, here, run with it, to a new player.
Yeah, absolutely. Raynor had to be in here because he's the tutorial hero.
Sure.
Totally makes sense. So,
he's got a great solid kit. He's extremely powerful right now. I can't wait to have good Raynors to play with. So I'm hoping some people gravitate naturally towards him.
Absolutely. Just because he's the tutorial hero does not mean he is weak. He's absolutely
No, and his new sound is just phenomenal for anyone who ever played StarCraft. So
yeah,
I've definitely been tempted more to play him.
His rifle used to do like a semi-auto, really loud single shot, and now it does the proper Marine kind of burst fire sound effect, and it's just you feel like you're home. It feels like comfy StarCraft pants.
Yeah.
No, anyways, yeah, I've been playing around with him this weekend. Man, Raynor's Raiders as the Banshees as the heroic ability is just so strong.
They mess stuff up, and his other real key fact as an assassin is he's able to augment his move speed with talents. And this is, his Revolution Overdrive at level 7, and then Berserk, which only gives you a 10% movement speed, but as a ranged hero chasing someone, that's going to be enough to kill them. And then you have the Banshees that are going a little faster than walk speed in the first place, so you just hunt people down.
Right. So, anyways, great heroes. I think you're going to be fine. You've probably heard us talk in weeks past about how Diablo is kind of an underpowered warrior. Again, though, you're going to be starting at level 1. You're going to be playing quick match. Diablo's perfectly fine. It's only when you get into draft that it's a little concerning to be rocking Diablo. That said, I've seen some perfectly fine Diablos in draft.
Sure, and I love Diablo. I can't wait for what's going to happen to him. He just doesn't have his own escape mechanic. Currently, there are some really cool talent choices, particularly augmenting his passive ability to just give you some insane regen, and you feel like you can just walk out of anything. But that's your only choice, is to walk out of anything.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about what you should do before you play a game of Heroes. Obviously, the first thing we talk about, and we've mentioned this in weeks past, but in case this is your first episode since you just got in, try a hero first before you take it into a real game. Play co-op, practice against AI, do whatever you have to do to learn how this character moves and how their abilities work.
Right. Every player has their own hidden score, their MMR. This is going to allow you to get matched with people of your similar skill. Currently, the system is a little odd, and also there's not enough players to fill out a perfect game. So getting in there with a little bit of experience is just a friendly move for everyone that you might be playing with who has been in the game for a bit.
Right.
Knowing the kill order is the next one.
Yes, and that is, to explain that real quick, is the order in which the opposing team needs to die.
Yes.
A real quick cheat sheet for this is don't prioritize their warrior, their tanky class, whoever it may be, Muradin, Arthas, Stitches, Diablo, Tyrael. Who am I forgetting? And whatever the case, whatever beefy heroes they have, that is not the one you should be focusing on in a team fight because they have the largest health pools and going to soak up a bunch of hits while the opposing team's damage gets to run free and kill all of you. So what you should be doing is prioritizing assassins and support roles first.
Right, and supports are good to scare off. A lot of them have abilities. One, in the first place, they're support. They're going to heal themselves if they get into trouble, especially in the early rankings. Later on, they might sacrifice themselves to keep an assassin going once they have the skill. So assassins, always primary target. You're going to have a lot of them that'll just wail on you otherwise.
Absolutely. Like you see someone like Vala come up, just kill him. Vala is made of paper.
Yeah.
And especially if you see her do that cartwheel dash, it's her ability called Vault. And if she's done it recently, it means she can't do it again, so she can't get away. She doesn't have a slow. That's it. If she uses Vault, that's her only escape mechanism. And if you're just getting in, there's a lot of other people just getting in, and there's going to be Valas making the mistake of using Vault to engage. Punish them for it.
The other thing about the game is you cannot click on heroes you do not control to see any information about them. This can be really confusing for players coming from other MOBAs who see a hero walking towards them, they click on them, they look at their stats, they see some armor, which is not in this game at all. They look at their health amount, which is slightly different for tanky heroes and supports and all this sort of thing, but it's not going to tell you a lot, and frankly, you can't even see it in game.
Right, exactly. And this is something that really has been confusing me as a player of other MOBAs, and StarCraft for that matter. I constantly click on other units in StarCraft to see what upgrades they have.
Right, well, and you need to, because you need to know if you can actually engage, if those banelings are going to be able to kill in a single hit. Armor makes a huge difference in that game. Whereas here, your only real source of information is tab. And there is a couple of heroes, mostly at level 10, that you will want to make a quick tab, hit that button there at the bottom that lets you see what their talent choices are. That shows enemy talents as well. And you can know that Nazebo, he just picked, the Rampaging Spirit. I'm going to have to watch out for that, or he went the other one for some reason, and I'm not concerned at all.
Exactly. The one thing you can do, we talked about tab. Bleh. I'm on autopilot, clearly. Careful about that though, because do it when you're dead. you don't want to have tab open and just get owned by someone because you couldn't see what was actually happening.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Anyway, moving on. For those of you who have played other MOBAs in the past, let's talk about some of the differences in Heroes of the Storm, because this game is quite different from other MOBAs. There may actually be an argument for why Blizzard is refusing to use the term MOBA for this game, although I refuse to put any cadence to that because I'm sick of learning other acronyms.
Hero brawler, though at times it does feel like a healer brawler.
That too. That is absolutely true. One of the first big differences is that you do not just sit in a lane all game and push. There hardly is a laning phase. It doesn't really exist. I mean, you should do it. You do need to, because you will notice if ever. Hey, are you new to Heroes of the Storm? Are you? Okay, cool. Well, let me tell you this. There is this battleground called Blackheart's Bay. And the other 4 people are going to want to rush this watchtower that on the minimap looks like a smiley face. Those people are idiots. Don't follow them. Go to the bottom lane so you can get the chest, and your team does not fall behind woefully on XP when they lose the fight because they made a bad tactical decision.
Sure, and that works into a lot of different things. We'll be talking about that more in this list. As for sitting in lane, pushing, there is no benefit really to it. I mean, in the beginning, everyone divides up. It's great for getting that first initial levels if the other team is too busy trying to make bad ganks or wandering around the woods. You're going to get an XP lead, but really it's not the biggest deal in the world, nor is the first blood. It might get you to a level higher in that first couple minutes, but the laning phase is immediately interrupted around the 4-minute mark on every map by the objectives, which is really what this game is about, and it encourages people to come together and beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings us to the next point, which is don't go it alone. Venturing out onto your own, going onto your enemy's side of the map to do something sneaky like steal their mercenaries or something is generally an awful idea and is one of the main reasons teams lose in pickup games.
And it can be really confusing because you pick an assassin, which your mind first goes carry if you're playing other MOBAs. Your assassin is tuned perfectly to deal about half of a hero's health. So Jaina, you just blow all these spells at once. It's a really cool system. The frost makes your crit and boom, 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 boom. But they're only about half health and you go, why? And that's because it's a team-based game and they're trying to encourage that style of play. Also, things like Zeratul, you're thinking, okay, I've got my melee stealth assassin, Bounty Hunter from Dota, has his Windwalk ability, basically, where he can turn himself invisible at will. That doesn't happen here. It's a passive ability that activates after 3 seconds of not being hit by anything. So there's very few early game escape mechanics that allow you to dive in, get the kill all by yourself, and then get out.
Yeah, that's why you see so many early game team fights. Case in point, Blackheart's Bay, everyone fighting around the tower, because the only way to get a kill is generally to team up with somebody. Right. Unless you really catch someone doing some of the stuff we just talked about, being too far on your side of the map and they can't get away. So anyways, we also mentioned map objectives briefly. Let's hammer that point home. The map objective, for the most part, if you are new, it always comes first. That is what will win you games. You can be down by double the kills. The opposing team can have like 24 kills. You can have 12. If you're capturing all of those objectives and you're doing the map correctly, you're going to win that game.
Right, and it's kind of a hard concept because I remember teaching you Dota, and there were parts where we would lose a whole team fight, and you'd be like, oh, this dumb carry up top, what is he doing? And I'm like, it's fine. he's getting money. Like, we all died, but it doesn't matter at all because our carry's making the bank, and we need him to.
Yep.
Here, you miss out. You're missing out on the XP. You miss out on the objective, which ultimately wins you games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stay with the team. If you see a team fight coming, mount up and run to them. Join your team because, yeah, being off alone during a big team engagement isn't helping anybody.
Another oddity that you might find in this game is you can cast most of your spells on buildings. This includes, direct targets and line of attacks, or sometimes some of your abilities like Tacidar's Shield, which seems odd as a hero saving ability, but it works on buildings here.
Absolutely. And now if you can cast a shield, you can cast it on structures. Again, it was gone briefly, but no, you can absolutely protect your buildings from oncoming pushes, from shielding them if you're Tacidar or Abathur. Don't recommend Abathur if you're new, by the way. Just a little aside there.
Yeah. It's real cool, though, but no.
Yeah. You have an ability called Hearthstone, and it does not make you start playing a card game. You hit B, and you cast a Hearthstone, much like in World of Warcraft, and you port right back to your Nexus fountain thingy. And you do that often. Don't be afraid to go back, and because you get your health back, you get your mana back, and you're freshened up, and you're ready to open up a can on somebody. There's also fountains, which help get that back as well.
And it's important to note that this is a passive ability that everyone has to teleport back. It takes 6 seconds, and you cannot be hit during the casting of it. But the second you arrive, you are going to get some health and mana back, and then standing in the fountain area is going to heal you up and mana you up fully. Something like this is just so important, particularly before objectives, that you need to get back and just be fully ready, particularly in the early game, because death timers are really short. If you kill the enemy team, there's a good chance that if you're not full health and manned up, they're going to come back from their death with the mana and with the health to kill you. Also, the maps are a lot smaller, so it's not a huge sacrifice for you to disappear for that 15 seconds it takes for you to go mana up. And then it's not costing you anything, which is another huge change from MOBAs. I mean, managing Scrolls of Town Portal is just insane.
Right. The thing is, obviously, there are exceptions to these rules. I know people are going to run in and be like, "You told people to always go back. What if there's a team fight about to happen? They should run and help the team fight." That is true. We're just trying to make tips for beginners.
Right.
Tips for beginners. Anyways. So other things you should do. You need to explore other lane combinations. The middle lane does not need to be the solo lane like it is in other MOBAs. All lanes gain experience at the same speed, whether there is 1 or 3 people in the lane. As long as one person is there to soak the experience from creeps being killed, you're good. So you can frequently see 3 bottom, 1 mid, 1 top, or variations of that, and it's not abnormal.
Right, and really, if you're comfortable soloing a lane, announce it. There's a great number of heroes that do it better than others in the first place. And if you have one of these, it doesn't really matter what lane you solo. It's cool to have, the middle lane have that one dude who's going to solo, and then like the stealthies are all, I'm mid for now, but we're going to gank. And the map is so small. It's not that big of a deal to change up lanes or switch out. And it's not a 2-minute investment for a bad lane combination to rework itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. That being said, I have gotten flustered a few times where I'm like, the stitches just won't go away. I'm trying to break the lanes up evenly, and this guy just keeps following me wherever we go.
Right, or 2 healers head top, and you just go, facepalm.
Yeah. That being said, our buddy Ben laned as Rhaegar with a Tyrande today on Sky Temple, and they killed it. They just destroyed. There is nothing any combination of heroes in that lane could do in the early phase to push them back.
Damn. You wouldn't think that, but maybe the slow mixed with a good, person behind Tyrande with the stun, I can see that working out. Well, and that sounds frustrating.
Yeah, it was delightful. So there are exceptions to the rules. If you are playing a stealthy, keep in mind that, or playing against a stealth character at the moment, there's only Nova and Zeratul. Those are the only 2 heroes you need to worry about. But if you're playing as them or against them, keep in mind the towers and forts and keeps do not detect cloaked units.
Yep. This is particularly important if you're playing Abathur. and you are sitting behind a tower thinking you are perfectly safe from the enemy stealth units.
Exactly.
Unlike other games, stealth units are not completely invisible. They have a slight predator-like shimmer. And if you have played StarCraft in the past, your eyes are tuned for it, and you are a badass.
Yes. And you can knock them out of it. Skill shots. Anything that's a skill shot or an area of effect damage spell will actually knock them out of their stealth ability. And that's when you know you're a true badass, is when you land some type of skill shot like Sentinel or Lunar Flare from Tyrande and knock a Zeratul out. And you're just like, yeah, I know where you are. I know where you are, Zeratul. Back to the dark with you.
Two Trees in the chat makes a good point. The main core buildings are able to see invisible units.
Yes. However, if you're that deep, the game is either nearing an end or you're doing something incredibly stupid.
Right.
So there's that. Even if it didn't and you were like trying to like backdoor attack the cores of stealthy, you'd have to leave stealth to attack it. So it just seems kind of redundant. Like, why not just make it detect?
This works into our next topic of the maps are generally small, but it's important to stay here in this game is different section. Early game watchtowers do not matter. And I wish I could just implant this in everyone's head out there. We made the joke about the Black Heart Space smiley face. This happens on basically every map. There's a watchtower. Cursed Hollow, not really, because they're just so separate, but for some reason, people have been dying like lemmings on Haunted Mines, doing these weird middle map, trying to get that early level objective something. Watchtowers, because the maps are so small, they're not going to give you the sight that you need to see that sneak attack coming. In fact, there have been many times where if I am not on voice chat with someone, I cannot type fast enough for a mounted stealth hero to go bot and gank somebody. I can't even form them because these maps are so tiny.
Right, exactly. That being said, they are helpful, especially mid and late game when you're trying to when you're pushing one lane and you're worried about people stealing your mercs and what. And this is getting a little more advanced than I wanted to get, but there are points to take it, but you shouldn't die for it. It's not that big of a deal. Play safe.
Right, late game map control is important in every single strategy game, whether it's team or single player. But in the early game, it's not going to give you the information you need, and there really is not. There's no purchasable items, so there are no wards to purchase. There are abilities that can help you see over a cliff or whatever, or I guess I should say over a bush, since we have no actual terrain depths in this game.
Yeah. Now, we pretty much talked about all the small map points in our discussion just then. So let's talk about looking at your screen and the information you should be paying attention to on it within the interface and whatnot. Obviously, the big thing is if you are not used to playing an isometric strategy game of any sort, watch the mini-map. The mini-map is so insanely important. You can read so much of the situation just by a quick glance of the mini map. Can you see where the other heroes are because they show up in red circles with their portrait in it, and your friends are blue circles that you can always see unless they're dead. So, and that's something you should always keep in the back of your head, because if you look at it and you're like, I don't know where any of the enemies are, I don't see any red circles, you should not be pushing forward into a lane or into the jungle because you don't know where they are. All five of them could be there to kill you.
And this is a team-based game, as we said. I mean, seeing one hero in a lane, higher end, probably a trap, frankly.
Yes, yeah. If you want to get real big about it. Pings are really helpful, too.
Right, and you can instantly tell... Man, you play so many MOBAs, and there's just so many nuances and all these things, but in Heroes, it's kind of simple. Are there heroes available pushing against you that you need to stop? No? Then look at all your various merc camps and see what you can go take instead. For the most part, objectives, getting curses, getting cannons are going to be the ones to destroy buildings. Your crazy specialists like Asmodan and other things might be getting some pushing done and getting in on that siege damage, but really, mercs are what's going to give you map control. And then late game, you enhance that by getting the watchtowers.
Absolutely. and reasons to, you know, hold on or to pay attention to the minimap. I mean, it just goes higher and higher. And you know, to kind of get a little off topic here, you mentioned capping mercs. One thing I've noticed lately is don't be afraid to cut and run early from fighting mercs if you see something very important start to go down that needs to be addressed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because it's like, oh, they're like half dead. I can just keep attacking them and cap them. If you see the entire opposing team just decide now's the time all 5 of us need to push down this bottom lane and the rest of your team is there to defend them, you should probably go help them. So because you could probably win that fight when they overextend and push the advantage.
Right, and the way this game is balanced, because the maps are small, you are not really meant to take fights that have a deficit of players. 4v5 does not really work out because the size of the map, you are expected to all be together for the final attack.
Exactly. Unless you have an amazing composition and you know how to use your crowd control correctly. Then you can flip it in your favor. But that's, again, getting pretty advanced. We want to be safe,
Sure.
Stay on even footing.
Don't engage an enemy that's level 10, and you are not. Level 10 is a frightening ability time. In fact, coming from Dota, this you can basically equate this to level 6.
Yeah. I think we have... Yeah.
What was your trepidation there?
No, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know where my brain was going with that. But now let's talk about some of the things that more or less exist in all MOBAs, but you should keep in mind here, just in case you've never played one before. Communicate with your team. We talked about pings. You can ping holding down the Alt button and clicking with your mouse. It's a left click, I believe, and there's even a radial dial menu that lets you choose on my way, defend, danger, and I forget what the last one is. Oh, assist me. Those are the 4 radial dial options, which are quite helpful, but just a simple little ping on the mini map works as well. And so, again, back to keeping your eye on the mini map, other people are going to be pinging a lot, and if you're paying attention to the mini map, you're going to know what your other teammates are thinking about going and doing, and you'll be able to kind of move with them and work as a unit.
The other thing to realize, as in any MOBA, there is body blocking here, and it is a huge part of this game.
Is there body blocking in every MOBA?
Pretty much. I mean, I can't speak for LOL. Okay, I'm going to have to let the chat say that for me.
I'm pretty sure it's not a thing in LOL.
Which makes sense with their Twitch gameplay and everyone kind of running around like crazy pants.
Right.
But here, if you are out of abilities, and there are some big-ass fat heroes who are going to use their fatness to stand in your way, and it is how you block, how you get in a sort of improvised stun.
Yes. Chat room also brought up a really good, well, we're talking about pinging. V, the keystroke V, is actually the shortcut for the retreat ping, which is exceptionally helpful. If, say, you're a warrior or support, and you're one of the two that kind of help, I feel like, conduct the team. Like, folks should follow the warrior because the warrior should be the one kind of starting up shit, and and folks should kind of also pay attention to support because, yeah, the support may not be in it and may not know the correct time to retreat, but they also might just be out of mana and letting you know, hey, you're all gonna die if you keep fighting.
It's the whole point why I really want a Diablo Master skin, is so that when I get in there, it's like, oh, damn, like this guy knows what he's doing. Let's attack the things he grabs instead of slightly ignoring him. Right.
Exactly. And then some extra tips and tricks. We already mentioned V for call for retreat. But one I really like is spacebar. Yes, your little title bar above your hero is a different color from everyone else's, so it is fairly easy to keep an eye on your hero. But when everything starts hitting the fan and there's a big team fight going on with all the spell effects and all of the heroes, they're not color coded. It's not red versus blue. It is a red team versus a blue team, but the heroes aren't actually colored like that. It's easy to lose your hero in the mess, especially, God forbid, there's a Thrall and a Rhaegar, for example. It's just like,
just in general, an Uther and anything else that has an ult that has particle effects gets pretty darn confusing.
Yeah, exactly. So just smack spacebar and it'll just center that camera right back on your hero, kind of regain your bearings. I do it all the time. It's incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and it looks sweet when you're Falstad and you're doing the fly move and you just watch yourself.
Yeah, if you hold it down, it'll just keep following you.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. Like if I'm running a long space, I'll just kind of hold it down.
Or if you want to play like Diablo, grab a piece of tape and tape it over your spacebar.
Well, you can lock it. I forget.
Yeah, no, I know you can do it.
They changed the hotkey. I forget what it is now, and I can't stand it. I don't know why anyone would play like that, but
it's not the best, frankly, and it's something that you shouldn't use. I mean, I know when I was teaching Kristen how to play MOBAs, it was something we turned on because she has a lot of Diablo experience. But as soon as she was ready, those training wheels came off because it's not going to allow you to look around that corner or expect things coming.
Yeah. In the tutorial, you probably saw regen globes, which give you health and a little bit of mana back. Those only drop from the mage minions, which are part of the regular group of creeps that come down lanes. And there's only one of them per wave. But if you're going a build where if you have a talent where picking those up is beneficial to you, or if you just need them because you're hurt, that's the only minion that will drop it.
Right. And a lot of different level 1 abilities give you stats permanently for the game by picking up those regen globes. So if you see one, don't leave it hanging. I mean, sure, you got a healer, but that thing is a heal for everyone in range, and it's going to augment those abilities.
Absolutely. You can see your stats by pressing C, your little hero stats. All kinds of interesting information is there. I can't say I use this one a lot personally, but a lot of people do like to see this.
Right, but that's because we can't click on other heroes, so we don't really just have that mindset. And outside of going to another website and like looking at them all in different windows, it's just easier to know that that hero coming at me is a tank because it says it's a tank, and it has tank-like abilities.
Exactly. There's bushes and, well, it's just bushes, right? There's no like StarCraft smoke or anything in this game, is there? I'm thinking
no, not yet.
Nope. So it's all bushes, which you can conceal yourself in, and you'll see a little transparent blue eyeball above your head. That means you're concealed successfully. Congratulations. No one can see you unless they're in the bush with you. But the important thing to keep an eye on is a red eye, which looks exactly like the blue one, but the color is different. And that means you're actually seen or revealed. And there's all sort of a cornucopia of abilities that can do this to you.
Yep. So if you're stealthy, particularly important, know when you're seen. Otherwise, you're just in a bad bush and there's an ability going off in your area. Keep an eye out for it.
Exactly.
So that concludes our intro to the Nexus, as it were.
Yeah. So welcome, new players. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And feel free to shoot us any questions to itncast@gmail.com. If you're unsure of some things or want some tips or tricks, we try and bring in emails every darn week. Well, we do bring in emails every week. So, I mean, hell, we had 2 right at the top of the show.
We did.
Damn straight. Well, I believe it is now time for Strategies, Part 2.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
So, ranked play is here, Kyle. You hit level 30, account level 30. Well, you can't hit level 30 with a specific hero, so that's kind of pointless to make the distinction.
Moving forward.
But now we can draft. We've been wanting a draft feature forever. It's in there. It's the only way you can play ranked. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And you were adamant. You were like, I want to talk about drafting this week, but I also want to do a newbie guide. So we're doing 2 strategy segments, damn it.
Yeah. And it's important to divide these things up because the last thing I want to do is, frankly, limit people who have just gotten in the game with all sorts of meta, just pile it. It's like, hold this, and you can't paint until you have this brush and go buy yourself a nice desk. No, like, if you want to have a profession, just start doing it. And don't wait around for all the fancy bits that come later.
Yeah, absolutely. I dove right in, man. The second I hit 30, I was just like, I'm going. I'm doing this thing.
And it's a sweet feature. It's classy. It's well put together. You get to have that exchange with your fellow man. Some of them are worth reporting at the end of it.
Yes.
I, in fact, had a guy, and I won't say his name because the battle tag system, I'd love to broadcast his name out there and be like, get rid of this man. But there could be other people with his exact same name, just with a different battle tag number. And that'd be a shame for, whoever it is to get piled on when I didn't do these things. But man, I had a guy this week who we got in. The person says, hey, I know that guy's name. I know who that dude is. He is a quitter. And he quits after the first hero death. And the guy goes, yeah, say something again, and I'm going to do it. And we're like, dude, are you serious? He's like, yep, dude, I'm throwing the game. And he ran at every wall. He died 15 times over the course of the game. As many as he could do, just plowed us into the ground. It was awful.
Cool. Well, at the end of the game, everyone, if you don't know this, you can go over to summary. You can see your team. You can right-click on someone, and you can report them. And you should report people like that because they're terrible people and shouldn't have access to this game.
Oof. No value of his time, I guess.
Yeah.
But besides that one experience, for the most part, I have had a wonderful time, and people generally seem to know what kind of comps to go for and enjoy having a discussion and trading around heroes and working out counters together.
Yeah, don't be afraid to talk to people in the beginning during the draft phase. It helps a lot. And the other thing that helps, and I didn't know you could do right away, is click on the hero you want to play right at the beginning because it'll bring it up in your window. You may not get them because the other team may pick it, but it gives the other people, even without saying a word, gives your team an idea of what you would like to play.
Right, and I think it's perfectly okay to also say, I'm going to wait and see, and just not select anything, because if you're picking support and you're the last pick, and we get all the way down there and you go, no, wait a minute, never mind, we're all going to be a little upset.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, it's a really good feature. So what exactly do you want to talk about with draft, Kyle?
So first of all, you need to have a team comp. There are established ideas of what kind of tanks and DPS and assassins and what kind of layout you need for your team. Frankly, the matchmaking system in Quick Match teaches you this by trial and error. You kind of learn like, ooh, wow, they got lucky. But other than that, there's not really anything that's like, the game's saying you have to have these and these and these, and then you're ready to play. So right now in the game, it is best to have one tank. You got to have one tank.
Yep.
We tried it. We thought maybe we could out damage another team with two tanks. Horrible idea. Very bad game.
We went. Oh, that was probably the worst game I played all week.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, we're good. Garrett's Uther. Uther's kind of tanky. He can just heal through it. Oh wait, Uther's heal's on a 12-second cooldown. This is probably a terrible idea.
Right. I mean, that was really a limitation of enemy heroes picked, which took away my assassin options that I was comfortable with. And then support picked by the other team took away Ben's options that he was comfortable with. So we all just kind of went in with like these limbo level heroes.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, really, the one warrior, one support, and 3 damage dealers, not necessarily assassins. You could have 2 assassins, one support, or not support, one specialist, or any kind of mix of that, and it'll probably be okay. That's kind of the skeleton I stick to. But we've had plenty of other games where there's been, say, 2 support, but one of them was kind of a dedicated healer, like an Uther or a Brightwing, and the other was not a full-on healer, but one that could do some spot healing here and there, but also put on the hurt like Tyrande. Tyrande's heal is really kind of wimpy.
Yeah, it is not impressive.
It does help in a pinch. It can absolutely make the difference between life or death for your heroes. But the other great thing about Tyrande is that she can deal a lot of damage. She has a map-wide ability with Sentinel that can also give you sight, and she has a stun. And stuns are king in this game right now, by the way.
They are, and it's in really any game. It's whatever team has the most disables can easily win the game because it's, visible. You stun someone, their body physically goes down, they get symbols above their heads, spell effects fly around them, and it definitely says this is the guy to kill right now. It's one of the problems with Diablo's pick up and move. One, you might move him out of something else important or cause another hero to miss a skill shot, but also visually, it's just not the same as these piled on effects.
Right. So we talked a lot at the beginning of the show, Kyle, about how right now it feels like there's kind of correct picks. Did you want to talk a little bit about what those seem to be, at least at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. These heroes are hotly contested over, and there are a few heroes that can kind of fill their role if they're picked before your team can get them.
Yeah. So the ones you're going to see probably snagged up as fast as possible, and this isn't obviously always true. There's going to be people who do comfort picks. These are, they're just going to play who they know and who they like, regardless of what the meta is. But at the moment, the most popular heroes, the ones that seem to bring the most to the table, I've seen for support, Uther and Brightwing are definitely the top 2 picks. Uther with 2 stuns, if you take Divine Storm, it's insane. And Divine Storm at level 20 is one of the most absurd things that exist in the game right now.
It's very large.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I've been playing a lot. I finally broke down and decided to learn how to play Uther this week, and I don't know where he's been my whole life because I feel like I bring so much to the team when I support as Uther. But Brightwing,
I'm happy to see you pick him. Though, frankly, both you and I are, coming from World of Warcraft, went through these phases where we saw bad tanks and bad healers and went, you know what, damn it, like, I'm here to support, and the deeps can do their job, and anyone can do that job. And then yesterday we were playing games and just losing out horribly, and went, what, that's it? That's it. We're assassins from now on, and we destroyed our next 2 games.
Yeah, that game where we just gave up and we're like, you know what, we're going to do damage. We annihilated. We completely annihilated. So it seems like in this game a little bit where if you're the more seasoned player, you're going to bring a little more to the table if you go the assassin route and you're good at it.
Right, well, and that's because, killing heroes gets you objectives. It's a hero brawler, frankly. It's not different from a custom arena game where you're just supposed to beat the crap out of each other. And, that's how you serve your team best right now sometimes.
Yeah, and this is not to disparage anyone from wanting to learn how to be a warrior or a support. There's nothing I respect more than a good healer at my back or a warrior in front of me. It's amazing. An Uther that knows when to get in, stun, get out, throw a heal. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, there was a noticeable swing in our luck when you and I went assassin. But hell, I mean, we've been playing since the 2nd week of Tech Alpha.
Yeah.
So, anyways, those are the Uther and Brightwing, definitely the top picks for support at the moment. For assassins, Thrall and Tychus. It's all about the Thrall and Tychus right now. I mean, Tychus is just a solid hero. Thrall just does so much damage, and he self-sustains. He heals himself from killing you.
And that's really the thing about him. Like, that is an extremely powerful kit. His ability to lock someone down, close in on them with speed on top of that, and do a lot of burst damage is just huge. Their auto attack burst damage too. So there's stackable abilities with some other heroes like Rhaegar that can augment your basic attacks, which is really neat. I don't know if he's still like flavor of the month and, fresh and people still don't know how to counter him, or if he's actually one of these top tier heroes right now.
I think he's actually one of the top tier heroes.
Well, you've been doing a phenomenal job on him. I'm perfectly happy to have you on Thrall.
He's really good. And also, you use the term lock people down, which I think we need to put a little asterisk next to, because when I hear lockdown, I think stun. Feral Spirit does not actually stun the target. It roots them. They can't move, but they can still attack. So if you're trying out Thrall for the first time, don't Feral Spirit someone and then run in with low health and expect to come out of it on top.
Yeah, but that combination of a root and the speed increase is just, it might as well be a stun in what it does for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As far as warriors are concerned, Stitches, without a doubt. I don't think I've had a single ranked game without a Stitches.
No. But he's also extremely popular among people that don't really know how to play him. There's one feature I really want in draft right now, and that's a golden border around heroes that, or people who have master skins of heroes. Because, first of all, if you ghosted a hero and you had a golden border around it, I'd say take him. I was also in this game where someone picked Hammer, and we're all like, oh, God, Hammer, like, oh, and like griping this guy. I wasn't, but, in the back of my mind, I'm like, crap. And then he gets in, a most amazing Hammer I've ever seen, beautiful skin, looking awesome, and we won the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd like to see the hero level.
Yeah.
Granted, people are going to get in there with untalent gated heroes like below level 4, and they're going to catch some flack. but I'm kind of okay with that. I'm going to be brutally honest here.
Because you didn't want to untalligate them, or
no? Like, I'm fine if people start catching some crap because they're trying to draft a hero they haven't gotten to level 4.
Ah, gotcha. Yes,
saying.
I agree with that statement. I was worried.
And I've done it. When I started playing Uther last week, he was level 2 when I went into draft with him. So I'm guilty. We won the game, and then I hit level 4. But
Neo Run Neo in the chat, like, I know that's what we thought too, but you don't have to be untalentated for draft at the moment. We're assuming that's going to be added in the team league, but Blizzard said that, it was too many restrictions. They wanted to make sure people who put in the time with even a couple heroes and then just bought heroes in the background to get there could get into draft as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
So Stitches, definitely the tank to have. Other solid picks for your tanks are like ETC and Arthas and all that sort of thing. But
I'd say Muradin is probably a first pick as well. Again, because of his CC, his ability to stun, and his mobility. Dwarf Toss. They're very good. Muradin has a really solid kit, and he's one of the cheapest warriors, which is, if you're new to the game, it's deceptive. He's an amazing warrior. So yeah, but no, yeah, Arthas is fine, ETC is fine, Muradin is fine. Really, all the warriors except Diablo are completely solid. Tyrael, I love Tyrael. Love having a good Tyrael on my team.
A good Tyrael who's good at all the talents at what was it, 13 and 16 that give him his push arounds. Like, I love a Tyrael that is all about that, just interrupting everything on Earth.
Yep, because if there's a channeled ability and you get moved, it is no longer channeling. It's very helpful. First pick for specialists is definitely Nazebo, another hero I think I've maybe had 2 ranked games where there hasn't been a Nazebo in it.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Nazebo. I'm one of those guys that goes, if that's the best, I'm not playing him anymore. So that's my own fault for not being the most awesome man on Earth at the moment. Nazebo is an incredible hero. He brings a lot to the table for people who know how to play him.
I require you to get back on Nazebo, by the way.
All right, well, I need 4,000 more gold.
I'm forcing. If I could gift you gold, I would. Other specialists that are really high selections, though, is like your Tassadar. Tassadar's really, really good, strong, picked often. You're going to be seeing a lot of them. And I've actually seen a surprising amount of Zagaras played personally. I know they're not, top tier high picks. I love myself as Zagara.
Sadly, one of the hidden background changes that happened last week was Kerrigan's Ultralisk no longer gets a movement speed bonus on creep.
Oh,
I mean, I get it. Like, let's not make hero combinations in the background.
I kind of want that
team high five bonus.
I want that to be a thing, though.
I know, me too.
It should so be a thing.
At least, yeah.
Oh, no, Blizzard, no, bring it back.
But Tassadar, definitely very solid if you are doing the 2 support build. You're sacrificing one of your DPS.
I'm sorry, Tassadar is a support, not a specialist. Chat room is correcting me. You're absolutely right. I don't know why he isn't a support at all. Doesn't make sense.
I kind of agree. Like, you said it didn't even register with me. I think because I agree with you. He's just kind of this odd sort of like floats in the middle, and none of his beginning talent points are heavy investments. It's not like, well, first level, time to make the choice as to what I'm going to be doing all game. It's like, I need mana, or do I want range? Like, well, whatever. They're all good, no matter what I choose to do.
I mean, he can get Healing Ward at level 4, but that's it as far as healing is concerned. Healing.
I mean, I love the combination where you get the shield that gives basic attacks a percentage of health back while you are shielded, and then at level 7, getting the shields that last infinitely.
Yeah.
That is a cool-ass combination. And I love just being like, boom, shields for everyone. And when you're winning, just riding your glorious procession across the map, everyone's got extra health sitting on top of them. But really, like, I'm not out healing a Malfurion or anything.
Right. You're not going to be out healing anyone. He is the worst healer he's the worst healer that's considered a support. I don't know why he's a support.
It's instant is really the thing about it, And combining him with someone like a Malfurion is incredible because heals over time, those are great for people who can disengage and get back in a few seconds.
So if you combine them with a shield, they're great.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But that's good. You can have Tassadar and a second support because Tassadar does really good damage. Which, again, I don't know why he's a support.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe relabeling him specialist, but it gives him the right tone. And I would be very upset if, for some reason, people suddenly thought shields are for me and my damage, and then they go like all damage all the time, not helping anybody else.
I mean, even if you don't put 1 point into shields, you can still shield other people.
Right.
So, I mean, this is kind of how I play Tyrande. It's like I'm damage, but every now and then I might be able to save someone's bacon with this tiny little heal.
Exactly. Stop those extreme long range attacks from killing someone, but otherwise, I'm not saving you in a firefight.
Yeah. So,
We mentioned Arthas and ETC as, tank picks after Stitches has been taken. I mean, really, an incredible ETC is awesome for his push around abilities. Nothing can really, take the place of Stitches at the moment. Arthas has a lot of self-heal, though.
That he does. Arthas is great. Love me some Arthas. Heroes you should avoid. Abathur and Diablo are really the two at the moment where anytime I've seen these two picked, chat explodes. Why are you picking that? Oh God, why are you picking that?
I've seen the same sort of problem coming with Sonya. I don't believe that Sonya is an issue. I think she's a very high damage tank and needs to be treated as such. But Abathur and Diablo, Abathur, his new kit is sweet, frankly. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and I can't wait for it to be tuned correctly. He lost a ton of damage on his spikes, as well as his shield is nowhere near as powerful as it used to be.
Yeah. Abathur's just real in a tough place right now. He feels half-baked. Like he was not ready to come out of the oven.
And Diablo is incredible when you have people who, one, trust you and what you're grabbing is correct. I mean, I play Diablo all the time with you and Ben. We have a great time and get a lot of good done with him. And there's also that push bug happening in the background. And before level 18 or 16, you cannot really clear a lane quickly by yourself.
Yeah. Some tough stuff. Any honorable mentions? Anything you want to throw in here that are totally safe draft picks? Anything we're missing?
I've seen some Asmodans, and they are good. Like, I love going Asmodan on Garden of Terror, where you are able to just burn down a terror all by yourself, or even Dragonshire. I've seen some really solid ones. Beyond that, as for situational map picks, I enjoy Jaina when there is an enemy thrall because he's so kiteable at the moment. And frankly, as you said with Zagara, if you have the skills and a team to restrict people from running away from your Hydras, you can do insane amounts of damage.
Absolutely. I played her in a ranked game today, actually, and cleaned up. Did really well.
I really hope that a lot of other heroes get her skin treatments because I don't want to play Gazlo because he's nasty. Frankly, he's just a dirty little man. But if he was graphically divided into a horrible little loot goblin and then some sort of master blaster mutant coming out of his back to make the rest, like, I would just love him.
All about flavor with Kyle Ferguson. You heard it here first.
Was there any doubt?
No, there wasn't. But that's more or less the draft discussion we wanted to have today.
Yep.
In a nutshell. So enjoy, have fun out there, guys. Don't feel the need to stick to this like a Bible. Let's find some new comps, shall we?
But for making, instant friends, these are the picks you should consider.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing as much Thrall as I can this week. That's all I have to say.
I'm fine with that, man. Bring it.
All right, let's take an emo before we leave.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
That was the wrong bumper.
Stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com and your proper bumper placement to my computer. Jason M. wrote in this week and he said, "Hey dudes, longtime fan from the pre-launch StarCast days and a listener to a bunch of A-Move shows." Thanks, Jason. I know Jason. I've seen him all around the Twitterverse and whatnot. He said,
"Yeah, man, this is Blue Impulse."
Yes, it is. He said that I hadn't quite had much fun solo queuing heroes until Hero League came along. Maybe it's the fact that absolutely new players are excluded until they gain more experience, or the fact that the others may not be playing their best characters. But in general, games have more fun than in the past. Or have been more fun, I'm assuming. I find there is a tad less bitching and raging at a loss. I'm very happy with it so far. You clearly have not been in the games with every Stitches I played with this week. All Stitches. It's all the Stitches. All of them. Every single one of them. Stitches are bitches. He said, additionally, I wanted to make an observation. It feels, bolded for emphasis because this is empirical, that when I have earlier draft picks, I am playing with players better than I am. And it feels like when I have the final draft pick, I am just about the strongest player on the team. Do you know whether or not your drafting pick position is related to your hidden MMR? This would make sense as you want the better players to pick last, as they are the most likely to to be best with the most characters, bringing stability to the team. Meanwhile, you want the worst player using the character he or she is best with. Thanks, guys. Jason, better known as Blue Impulse. P.S. I'm about to get engaged, so it's been fun following both of your journeys on podcasts and Facebook. Dude, congratulations. Also, I hope your future fiance does not listen to the show and we did not ruin it. I'm assuming she does not, or you would not have put that in your email.
That's true. And engagement shouldn't be a surprise in the first place.
I mean,
the ring and the knee and then all that—that's a surprise territory. But you should definitely have the responsible conversation beforehand, anyway.
That's a good point. I was about to say mine was a pretty big surprise. She was not expecting it.
Well, yes, but mine was like, do you have any goals for the new year? And she's like, to get married. I'm like, note taken.
Done. Yeah. No, I mean, we had the. So, you think marriage on the horizon? Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
You and me forever.
Then I put it away, and then I was like, 2014's coming up. I think I want to get engaged this year. And then I started scheming.
Yeah, scheme away.
Anyways, to his question, I don't believe that has anything to do with it. If it does, Blizzard hasn't said a damn thing. The only thing they have said about the way that these teams in Hero League are put together is that they try and match you up with similarly skilled players. Which, in a perfect world, I would really like that to be the case. I would like the other 4 members of my team to be equally as skilled as myself, so that it wouldn't really matter what the draft order was.
Right, and the ranked number right now is a complete illusion. You're going to go up with a 22% win rate, and that's kind of shocking. As long as you play enough and you win at 22%, you can get to rank 1. My win rate right now, I'm going up in ranks, but it is 50-50, which I guess means it's balanced. Would I like to win more? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not happening. This, I think, is fascinating. It'd be real cool if they did this, because that's a great idea that skilled players can, play multiple hero types. I think, though, as you go, I rarely see a first pick Raynor in the top, where I definitely see them later. And that usually means that, whoop, crap, like all the good assassins that I have are gone. And I bought this guy with gold. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But yeah, no, I really doubt this is the case. Although that would be super interesting if it was. Also, Blue Impulse is in the chat room. So, hey, you little lovebird. I'm so excited for you. Our little Blue Impulse is growing up.
Aw.
I just remember it was just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday.
He was making fun of us for calling Vikings vultures. And something about spore crawlers. I don't know. I'm sure there was something about spore crawlers at some point, but
probably.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Scout and build spore crawlers.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. So, anyways, I'm loving draft mode quite a bit. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. Extremely solid experience. Just like when the balance comes along, it's going to be a cool ass place to be.
Absolutely. And also, I think the hero pool just getting bigger will make it a little more interesting as well.
That too. I mean, and that's really kind of the problem right here. Like Stitches, or Well, Stitches, with his pool, does something that no other hero can possibly perform. And we've heard from League of Legends players out there that there are tons of ways to make the pools happen with different hero ability types. Tychus is incredible right now because he has a second health bar, and no other assassin can do that at the moment.
Right.
So these guys that we said first picks are irreplaceable.
Right. Exactly. And that's why. The reasons like that. There's certain things they bring to the table that just cannot be replicated. There are counter picks as well, by the way. Brightwing is so good against Thrall. Holy crap. Because he's all about getting that combo. He wants those 5 stacks of Frostwolf Resilience so that he pops his heal and he pops his mana regen if he's spec'd into it correctly. Yeah. And as a Brightwing, you just disrupt the shit out of it by polymorphing him.
How so? Does it reset your stacks?
Well, no, but I mean, he's not. It disrupts anyone because they're not attacking. But with Thrall, it's exceptionally bad because he is rather squishy, and if you make it take longer for him to spin that dial around and get that heal off, he's gonna die.
Yeah, I've never really thought about that because you're diving in with this expectation of that heal happening.
Yeah.
And you get denied those couple seconds. I can see how that can turn around real fast.
It makes a huge difference. It makes an absolutely massive difference. So they also help people get away from a pursuing Thrall with the speed boost from Pixie Dust.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and Brightwing also has Bribe, and really Brightwing is just an amazing hero right now.
Brightwing and Uther are the top 2 support right now, without a doubt.
Yeah.
No. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's episode. As always, we want to thank you to all of our Into the Nexus patrons who are supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. That is where you can go and subscribe to the show for any amount you want. $1 a month, $5 a month. That's like buy one less Coke a week if you enjoy what we're doing and support the show. It's been wonderful having the support of listeners, being able to drop ads from the top of the show and everything. So thank you guys very much. We don't have any new patrons to thank this week, so we've officially thanked every single one of you personally, but we're going to keep thanking you every week. So thanks.
Thank you.
We also want to thank those of you who are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store because we love ourselves. The iTunes podcast video game section. That's where I go for my podcast. I know that's where you go for your podcast, Kyle. And reviews help us move up that review or the top 200 board. So thank you very much this week to Blam Rob, who said, this show needs more Gazlo. All right. But he still gave us a good review.
Thank you for leaving that.
Yeah. Thank you to Rufus Funkerdale, who said we're informative, humorous, and an overall good listen.
Oh my God. I'm going to go rename my hunter pet right now.
Yeah. And no offense to Blam Rob or Rufus Funkerdale, but you both have been blown out of the water by listener Nox Punk, who wrote, caught me with the entangling roots, kept me with the devouring maw. You got me, Nox Punk. That really tickled me pink. I loved that. So thank you. Thank you guys very much for your reviews. As always, Into the Nexus is produced by A-Move TV and Declan H., our patron producer. You can see more about this and all of the other shows we do over at amove.tv. Our email is itncast@gmail.com, and you can catch us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AMoveTV, as well as the mobile stream over on alphageekradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast. You can check out the musician Brian Griffith, who made our intro music, over at briangriffithmusic.com. And Kyle, when you're not being a warrior of the Nexus, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter, and you can find me on my website, kyleferguson.com, where this week I put up a review of Star Wars Edge of the Empire, the RPG tabletop role-playing game, which I got to play quite a bit with one of the artists who did the art for that game.
Yeah. It's a fun game. I did that as well. That was actually my first pen and paper RPG.
Honestly, like if you're looking for a great system to pick up and you've never played one before, it is so introductory, and the dice system is excellent.
Oh, it's so delightfully streamlined. I loved it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't say I don't really like D&D. I had an absolute blast playing D&D with you, but yeah, it's just something really nice and streamlined and quick about the system in Edge of the Empire. So if folks want to follow me after when I'm not doing this show, you can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt. That's at GarrettArt, or over at nomoonart.com, which is my graphic design portfolio. If you need a graphic designer, check me out. There's a contact form right there. There's only two things, a portfolio and a contact button. Keep it simple.
That's all you need.
You can also hear me talking Hearthstone over on the Angry Chicken podcast, which is about Hearthstone. And you can find me this Saturday in Orlando for the Orlando Fireside Gathering, playing a lot of Hearthstone. 4 p.m. Go to meetup.com/Florida Fireside for more information. And also, just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show doesn't mean these codes aren't still totally awesome. You can use the code ITN at dogcastsystems.com to get double memory on your next Dogcast Systems gaming rig, free of charge, and directly support Into the Nexus in the process. That same code, ITN, also works over at tweakedaudio.com, where it'll get you 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds, and you can use that code as many times as you want. Free shipping to the U.S., to Canada, across the pond. Use it. Check it out. I love my Tweaked Audio earbuds. We will see you all next week for episode 36 of Into the Nexus. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, chat, you ran off.
Feels good.
You're like, Raynor, let's talk Raynor. That was great. No, you guys were great tonight. That was fun.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Oh, crap.
I really like Banshees. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys are crazy.
They're smoking crack. If anyone in here is slinging lies saying that Raynor's Raiders isn't the correct pick, I am sorry to inform you. You are misguided.
Yeah, I mean, Hyperion's so cool. And being able to, like, on Dragonshire, just support a dragon, damming those buildings right up. Like, you feel like a badass, but I've killed so many people trying to get away with Raynor's Raiders.
Yeah. Absolutely. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, the Banshees are absolutely the better of the two. I mean, Hyperion is flashy, but it used to be the best, like, without a doubt, but it got nerfed, and now the Banshees, I think, are a much better pick. You can really screw people up.
Take care.
I was just making sure
I think the show. With the level 20 talent's a little lackluster.
What is the level 20 talent?
They stay permanently cloaked.
Yeah, it's not that great.
Yeah,
people are going to run away from them. They're not going to stand and try and kill them.
I think with time, it could be a great choice. I mean, right now, people get messed up by Jaina's water elemental. But it just got a health decrease, too, in this last patch. And if you turn around and attack it a few times, it's dead. But everyone just kind of goes, oh, I'm slowed. No.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're just so damn good. And when you die, they stay where you died, and they continue attacking. D-Day was playing Raynor in a game, and he and I were out fighting. He died. His Banshee stayed. I ran to where they were and killed 2 more people with the help of his Banshees.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, when I played Raynor this week, I mean, we were so far ahead. It wasn't draft, but still, we were just steamrolling. I ended up taking on Raynor the chaining attacks, which I don't remember what it's called at the moment.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about, but
something of the storm, I'm sure.
Bolt? No.
Fury of the storm.
Fury of the storm. That's what it. Bolt
50% chance to, or 50% damage, bounces twice. I mean, he has so little area effect. That was actually a really solid choice. But Bolt of the Storm just gets you out of so much trouble.
Yeah, it's nice.
I wonder if Hyperion will get a damage buff now that you can no longer pick it as Abathur. Because I think that was the primary problem.
That's a good point.
Double Hyperion.
I never thought about that.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with some of those ults. Like, I wonder if Vala's straight pew, 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 it will, not be knockoutable. I hope it is. I hope we continue to interrupt that awful ability. But it seems right now that, like, the stun slam is the better choice.
Yeah.
That Rain of Vengeance.
It's like with Thrall, man. All I take is Sundering. I know that there's a use for the other one. I don't even know what it's called, but I never use it.
Earthquake?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's named after the thing that it 100% looks like? Oh, damn. I'm an idiot.
Whatever. Dude, this is Blizzard, man. It could have been named anything. Cataclysm.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was called, actually. The one is called the Sundering, so why isn't the other one called the Cataclysm? I guess because he's not Deathwing. I guess that makes sense.
Strife Age, I would assume that Raynor's getting a rework because they're just making their way through all the original heroes right now and sprucing them up. Plus, he's sporting a lot of random-ass pictures at the moment, and they seem to be going back and helping those be a little more themed.
Yeah.
Like this wonderful ability Berserker I talked about today, an orc face. Or your choice of executioner, which is a sword?
Well, that's the thing is, on Thrall, it drives me nuts that Chain Lightning and Wind Fury's icons look insanely similar.
Oh, yeah,
When
they
I
are
was,
both.
when I was first learning him, and I was doing talents, I was like, wait, what ones? Does this do Wind Fury or does this do Chain Lightning? I can't fucking tell.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with the old Warcraft 3 Chain Lightning. It does the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not due to his hammer.
Yeah. I don't know. Bothers me a little bit.
What bothers me is Thrall having it in Venom.
A lot of people have a Venom that I don't necessarily think should have it. It's just a... Think of it like items in Dota, Kyle.
Yeah, no, it's solid. And yes, you can't wear 5 hats in real life, but Dota, you can wear 2 pairs of socks and boots. So.
It's cold out, man. You need 2 pairs of socks.
Yes. It's the winter theme of the map.